Hare Krishna, dear devotees, please enable the audio.
जगुरु है माता जी Word to word meaning, translation and purport by His Divine Grace, Abhay Charan Arvinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Yani, all those which Rupani forms, Jagruhe accepted, Indraha the king of heaven, Haya the horse, Jihirshaya with a desire to still, Tani all those, Papasya of sinful activities, Khandani signs, Lingam the symbol, Khandam the word Khanda, Iha here, Uchate is said. Translation: whatever different forms Indra assumed as a mendicant because of his desire to seize the horse were symbols of atheistic philosophy. Purport: according to Vedic civilization, sannyas is one of the essential atoms in the program of the Varnashram institution. One should accept sannyas according to the parampara system of the acharyas. At the present moment, however, many so called sannyasis or mendicants have no understanding of God consciousness. Such sannyas was introduced by Indra because of his jealousy of Maharaj Prithu, and what he introduced is again appearing in the age of Kali. Practically, none of the sannyasis in this age are bona fide. No one can introduce any new system into the Vedic way of life. If one does so out of malice, he is to be known as a Pakshandi or atheist. In the Vaishnava Tantra, it is said, Yastu Narayanam Devam Brahma Rudradi Daivataihi Samatvinaiva Viksheta Sapashandi Bhavedruvam. Although it is forbidden, there are many Pashandis who coin terms like Daridra Narayan and Swami Narayan. Although not even such demigods as Brahma and Shiva can be equal to Narayan. Omagyanatimirandhasya Gyananjana Chakshuronmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupaha Kada Mahyam Tatati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guruh Shri Yuta Pada Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवास आदि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna. Welcome to our morning Srimad Bhagavatam class, wherein the discussion about King Prithu's 100 horse sacrifices is going on. So when King Prithu, for the sake of his citizen and their advancement, wanted to perform these 100 sacrifices for the pleasure of the Lord, Indra, the king of heaven became envious of him, became jealous. Because one of the names of Indra is Shakra, which is short form of Shatakratu. Shata means 100, Kratu means sacrifices. Because he performed 100 horse sacrifices, that's how he was elevated to the position of being the king of all the demigods in the heaven. And though demigods are exalted, urdhvam gachanti sattvastha, those who are in the mode of goodness, they are elevated to upper planetary systems like Bhovarlok or mainly Swargalok, Janalok, Tapalok, etc. But then demigods are not yet pure devotees. There is some contamination, there is passion and ignorance in them, which sometimes surfaces, especially when such kind of situations arise. So he, as such, many times interrupts such kind of penances, sacrifices of ascetics, kings. So here is king. At other times, ascetics, if they are performing deep, great austerities, he at times, many times, he becomes insecure. When King Indradyumna was going to perform 100 horse sacrifices for inviting Lord Jagannath, so that was the main concern raised, that Indra will be creating a lot of disturbances, because when 100 horse sacrifices were performed by Prithu, he created so much disturbance. You, O Indradyumna, are going to perform 1000 horse sacrifices, 10 times more than Prithu Maharaj. So he will definitely create disturbance. So Indradyumna said, no problem. I'll go and personally tell him that you also come, and this is for Lord's inviting the Lord. This is not for my self wanting some material desire. So when he performed 1000 horse sacrifices, peacefully it was performed, because Indra was having all, giving all the blessing. He was clear that this is not that Indradyumna Maharaj wants my position, Swargalok, Indrapat. So he was peaceful. But here he is not peaceful. Especially 99 horse sacrifices were performed, but when the 100th one was being performed, then he was again and again coming and stealing the sacrificial horse. So that time, Vijitashva was going behind him, and Vijitashva is the son of Prithu Maharaj, who went and got the horse back. But again and again, Indra was doing this. This, in particular, this section, that is 10 to 25 verses. And this is Indra stealing the horse and creates heretics. That means Pakhanda, Pashandis, Apasampradayas are better than worse word would be, wrong systems of religion, particularly for sannyasis. Because every time he would take the horse and he would be chased by Prithu Maharaj's son, he would, in order to make himself secure, at once he would accept the dress of a sannyasi, some sadhu, because sadhus are to be respected. Just like Prithu Maharaj also, when he performed sacrifice, Mother Earth was not giving herbs, etc. The population was starving. So when he chased after earth, she turned into cow's shape, because Gohatya is not allowed in the scriptures. So when insecurity is felt by somebody, he can do anything. One will go to any extent. One will tell lies, one will steal, one will borrow, beg. He can go to any, he can murder. Whenever, like a pig, if chased by a human being, he will run, 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 run. But if he comes like this, some dead end, there is no further way to go for him. Then he turns back and attacks the person who is chasing after him. Though he knows that he is small and a human being is big, but when there is insecurity, life threat, one will go to any extent to save oneself. So here is Prithu, here is Indra, who is, as per this particular verse, whatever different forms Indra assumed as a mendicant because of his desire to seize the horse were symbols of atheistic philosophy. So this is what is happening. Another description is, these verses describe various types of irreligion introduced by Indradev out of his envy of Maharaj Prithu. So Prabhupada in the purport is saying that practically all the sannyasis which are there in the modern day, Kali Yuga, that all there are not bona fide. None of them are bona fide. They're all bogus. Why? Because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu many times would quote one particular verse Ashwamedham Gavalambham Sanyasam Pailapaitrukam Devarena Sutotpattim Kalo Pancha Vivarjayet. Five things are forbidden in Kali Yuga. Kalo Pancha Vivarjayet. Five things are forbidden. Which are they? Ashwamedham, performing horse sacrifices. This is not Kali Yuga. This what Prithu Maharaj is there. This is long before, maybe Satya Yuga. So there it is allowed. Ashwamedh sacrifice was performed by kings, like Lord Ram also performed. And Gavalambham, that is Gomed Yagya, is performed by Brahmanas. In both, whatever it is, the particular animal is sacrificed. Old animal is chosen by the kings for Ashwamedh Yagya, and then he is cut and put in the sacrificial fire with the proper pronunciation of the mantras. As a result of which, the same soul in that old horse body comes out in the new horse body. That means young horse body. So that is elevation, promotion. Sometimes comes as human being also. So that's great promotion. Similarly, when Brahmanas perform Gomed Yagya, cow, old cow is sacrificed, is cut, and flesh and bones, everything is put in the sacrificial fire. Then that soul in the old cow's body comes out in young cow's body. So that is elevation, or sometimes as a human being. So this kind of sacrifices were performed by very expert Brahmins. The sacrifices were very elaborate. There is the hotas, Urdhva use, and then Brahma, such kind of posts. They had different duties. Some pronouncing mantras, some arranging the fire, some host, and many things like that, which is not possible in this day and age because we don't have expert Brahmanas who can utter the proper pronunciation of the Vedic mantra and revive the life of that soul in that old animal's body. That's just not possible. Even in Bhagavatam only we have the story of what is his name, who performed sacrifice, but instead of saying Indra Shatru, he said Indra Shatroho at Twashta when he performed sacrifice because his son uh, Vishwaroop was asked by the demigods to perform sacrifice, but his mother's side is from demons, so he was in a hidden way he was offering sacrifices for them also. This was not liked by Indra, and Indra beheaded three-headed Vishwaroop. This enraged Twashta, his father, and he performed sacrifice. The intention was to create a demon who will kill Indra. But by mistake, the one word Indra Shatru became Indra Shatroho. So instead of meaning that let an enemy of Indra be born, the meaning became let the demon who will be enemy of Indra. In a sense, he will be killing. He will be killed by Indra. That kind of meaning it became. And then Rutrasur was born, and he was killed by Indra. Anyway, he was a pure devotee, King Chitraketu in previous life. But the point is, little mistake even in the by the expert Brahmins in the bygone ages created such havoc. Contrary result was produced. In day and age, people hardly know how to pronounce properly. So these kind of sacrifices are not recommended. One ISKCON devotee went with one of his friends for some marriage ceremony. So when he was attending that, his friend, he said, "Arey friend, this fellow is chanting the mantras which are to be chanted when the death ceremony is there. Huh? Nobody knows. In Sanskrit is going on. Then immediately this devotee told him, "Sir, it seems that you are chanting some wrong mantras at the time of death. What are prono?" So okay, by my mistake, I was actually too much in this thing. So nobody knows in the marriage ceremony that not marriage happening. Is the final antim sanskaras are being done. So people hardly know all these things. The science is not understood by people, and they are not qualified at all. Ashwamedh Gavalambam is not allowed. Gavalambam Sanyasam Paila Paitrukam. Sanyas is also forbidden in Kali Yuga. And Paila Paitrukam, that means offering oblations to the forefathers. This means offering meat and other things to the forefathers. That is also not allowed. And last is Devarena Sutotpattim, producing child from Devar, a woman who is married to a man, but the man is not capable of producing child from that woman for whatever reason, not necessarily his impotency. Just like in the case of Maharaj Pandu, who was with his two wives Kunti and Madhuri in forest. But one point of time when he was hunting, he happened to shoot arrow at one deer and what you call male deer and female deer. and they are having union. And when he shot arrows, both of them got pierced, and they shouted in the voice of human being. Immediately, Pandu was surprised. He went there. Then he found them in the form of male and female. Then he understood he committed a great blunder, mistake. They said, "Then how dare of you to do like this? We are sages. So as sage, I cannot have union with my wife in the male body. So we transformed ourselves into deer body, and we were wanting a child, and for that we were having this act of procreation. And at that time you shot arrows at us, and you are killing us. So I also curse you when you approach your wives for this act of procreation. You will also die immediately." So because of this now, Pandu Maharaj, though has two wives, he cannot approach any one of them. And time is passing by, and it is not good. The king has to have the next generation, son, because king's concern is who will take care of my citizen after me. I will die anyway. So the next king I have to prepare, who will be like father to all the citizens. And he has no sons, he cannot have sons. He is potent, but he cannot produce because he will at once die. So then Kunti Devi told, when Pandu was morose, Kunti Devi told that in my young days, when I was 13 years old, I had served Durvasa Muni when I was daughter of Kunti Bhoj, and got pleased, he blessed me that I can invite any demigod by pronouncing some mantras and get anything that I desire. Immediately Pandu said, okay, then we want sons because I cannot produce sons in my wife. So you call. So first you call Dharmaraj, and then Kunti Devi chanted those mantras. Earlier she had, as an innocent girl, not knowing. When Durvasa Muni went away, she did not know. She just pronounced Surya Deva was rising. She saw through the window, sun is rising. So she pronounced the mantra invoking sun. Sun immediately came in the window, with such effulgence. He said, yes, Kunti, what do you want from me? And she said, no, nothing, nothing. You please go away, please go away. He said, no, you have called me. I cannot go empty handed. I have to give you something. She said, no, nothing, nothing. I was not clear whether the mantra works or not. I just chanted like that. Please go away. He said, no. It's like I cannot go empty handed. It's like false ego also. But then then I'll give you a child. She got all the most scared. Child, I'm virgin girl. I'm not yet married. So he said, don't worry. You will remain virgin only. And they say that the child was born through her ear. So that's why his name, Karna. But then innocent girl, unmarried. So she put him in basket and allowed him to float down the stream of river. Then he was obtained by one charioteer, and his wife was Radha. So he's called as Radheya also. He became Sutaputra from lower community, but actually he was a Kshatriya boy. That was eventually detected by Parshuram when he told Parshuram that I am Brahmin. And Parshuram accepted him, but in the forest, when one point of time Parshuramji was tired, he lied down on his lap. And that time one very deadly insect came. He sat on the thigh of this Karna and started making a hole. And the blood started oozing out. And Karna is a Kshatriya, so Kshatriyas they're physically very tolerant. Mentally, they may be difficult to tolerate. Brahmanas, physically very difficult to tolerate, but mentally very tolerant. So blood was flowing, so much blood flew that one point of time, Parshuram's hand, when he changed the side, the hand touched something liquid, and he got up and he saw blood. He said, "What is this? Where is blood coming from?" And then he understood Karna's body is being pierced by one insect. Immediately, Parshuram said, "Come on, what is this? How come you are able to tolerate so much pain? You cannot be a Brahmana. Brahmanas cannot tolerate so much physical pain. You must be a Kshatriya. No. How did you lie to me? So I curse you when the right time comes, when you need your weapons the most, you will not be able to invoke them. You will forget all the mantras." And that's what happened with Karna eventually. Anyway, so here we find Devarena Sutotpatti, that producing child through the another person. The husband can ask the younger brother, his younger brother, to produce son in the womb of his wife. That means the younger brother will produce son in the womb of his bhabi. But it is not like bhabi. So woman is compared to a field. Like a particular owner of the field, he may not be able to cultivate the land. So he may give it to somebody else, saying that you cultivate, but the crops you have to give to me because it's my field. You can get little bit, but most of the crop will come to me only because it is his field after all. So that kind of concept is allowed in the scriptures. Similarly, when this Vichitravirya died quite before without conceiving a child in the womb of Ambika and Ambalika, two wives. So similar problem was faced by Mother Satyavati that Kuru dynasty has no next somebody in inheritance. So then she invited her son, produced through Parashar Muni, and that is Vedvyas. So he came and then she told him that you produce child through Ambika. So Ambika thought Satyavati's son is coming. That's what was told. Satyavati's son will impregnate you. So Vichitravidya is dead and Chitrangad was also dead long before. So only other son of Satyavati is Bhishma because she was married to Shantanu and Shantanu had through Ganga got Bhishma. So she did not know about this earlier pastime, earlier what had happened with Parashar Muni. So she thought Bhishma is coming. Oh, Bhishma is powerful, beautiful, uh, best of the males. So she was having all fantasy. And when door opened and Vedvyas came with all beard and bodies having all wrinkles because ascetic, tapasvi, no beauty there at all, very ugly looking. So she got terrified. It was like what you call, all dreams were thrown in air. She immediately closed her eyes, and through the union, because she had closed eyes, the physical status and mental status of the male and female at the time of conception matters a lot. That's why Garbhadan Sanskar is very much recommended in the scriptures. So here she closed the eyes, so child would be born blind, and that's what Dhritarashtra. And next Ambalika was tried. Then she knew that she should not close the eyes, but then by seeing Vedvyas who is so ugly, she became pale, completely white, and that's how Pandu, white, Pandu, that means whitish child was produced, who was somewhat pale also, but very powerful also. So anyway, so that kind of concept is there, which is not allowed in Kali Yuga. So five things are forbidden, which we discuss: Ashwamedh, Gavalambha, offering oblations to forefathers, sannyas, and producing child through brothers, uh, through the brother's wife. So then we'll ask, then why are we having sannyas in ISKCON? So we are not recommended to have karma sannyas. That means giving up all the activities and just like trying to meditate and all. That is not possible. So we engage all our body, mind, and senses in the service of the Lord. All the ISKCON, and for that matter, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself, who said this mantra, this sloka, he himself took sannyas. So that proves that sannyas of karma sannyas is talking. That should not be taken. So we engage ourselves fully. Our sannyas is engaged fully, their body, mind, and words. That's why they accept Tridanda sannyas. Three sticks are there in that, representing body, mind, and words. And at the top, there is Jiva Danda. So this soul, this living entity, with his body, mind, and words, is surrendered to the lotus feet of Hari Guru Vaishnava, or Lord's work. So the topmost sannyasis, so these sannyasis, now in the current day, whatever is there, this is all bogus because they are not, karma sannyas is not allowed only. And then because they take karma sannyas, they are not actively engaged in devotional activities, then they will go for so many wrong activities. Rather, a lot of frauds are done, a lot of what you call scandals are done by such sannyasis, smoking cigarette, in trains and all, it is not unusual to see somebody wearing saffron and smoking cigarette. Even on the roads you'll find they'll have jhola, many times no chappal in the feet, they're going bare feet, but they are having cigarette and so many other things. Some are having hookah, some are having so many other things. So this is not a proper representation. They are not practicing God consciousness. Rather, others who could practice God consciousness, their faith is also shaken up by saying, "Arey, you have renounced everything of this world, and you are doing smoking, intoxication, and all that." And we fellows are told that we are not supposed to smoke. How is it possible? So people feel it's contradictory. And many times such scandals are exposed and such people go behind bars, and people in general may lose faith in religion. These kind of sannyasis are there. So this sannyas is not to be taken, it is all bogus. That kind of opinions are formed, which is not proper. It's like you are on one extreme and then you go to other extreme. People are very naive. not innocent. Naive means mm, this can be easily cheated because they have blind faith. Oh, somebody wearing saffron must be great soul. And many times they will send their young daughter for her to be blessed by him. This is not the foolishness parents are supposed to do. Young daughter should be protected by parents. In afterwards, she should be protected by her husband. So she should not be sent with some sadhu alone. At least one or two male members or female members, somebody should be there. Not only that sadhu and that girl or something like that. But that no, and then when he's exposed of doing some nonsense, then they go to other extremes. It's all bogus. All sannyasis, all sadhus are bogus. And so that is basically passion and ignorance. Earlier they exhibited ignorance by letting their daughter to go there, and then afterwards they show passion. It's all bogus. Nobody can be sannyasi and all. So this is what happens for most of the people. They got swayed by passion and ignorance. So that should not be done. So sannyas can be maintained. It's possible when we follow the proper sannyasis. When sannyasis, they need their role models. Then only it's possible. Like engineers become engineers when the boys after 12th or whatever, when they get into engineering college, where there are senior engineers and engineering teachers, engineering college, when they study all that very nicely, then they become nice engineers. Those who don't study there, they are going for daba, they are going for movies, then they can be failures also in such colleges. But vast majority of the people who have through entrance exam tested thoroughly, who have worked hard in their life, when they get into college and so many facilities, they can become nice engineers. But if they are with some MBBS boys and all alone they have to study with no education of engineering, then it is very difficult, almost an impossibility. So sannyasis, one has to follow in the footsteps of sannyasis. Sannyas is recommended in the Varnashram system, as Prabhupada says it very clearly. Varna and ashram, four Varnas, four ashramas. This is according to psychophysical nature. We all have particular body and we have particular psyche. It is individual to every person. It is typical of him only. It doesn't match with others. You can say all of us don't match in our complexion, in our height, in our hair texture, and all variety weight. So many things are different. Languages are different. So our physics is different. Similarly, our minds are all different. So it doesn't match. But certain set of psychophysical nature, people of psychophysical nature can be sannyasis. They can come to the mode of goodness and they can practice sannyas, renounce order of life, and perfect also. That will depend on previous life, whatever was there, or that will depend on in this life how well they are trained and ready to practice, giving their heart and soul as per the superior's guidance. So it is very much possible. Just like we can see, gopis are considered the topmost renunciants in the creation. Why? Because for Krishna's sake they left their household duties in the midnight only, without caring. For mother, son or child is so important, but they just left their babies, they went to forest. Then they had so many household duties to do. Husband's duties, in-laws duties towards in-laws, so many things, and that too in the midnight. Like all of us perform devotional service in the daytime. If any one of us is woken up in the midnight, 12 o'clock, 12:30, Prabhu, somehow some urgent service is there. Like, yeah, Prabhu, uh, did you not have any other day? You were awake only, na? You could have done, na? Why are you waking me up? We become so disturbed. And that doesn't happen daily basis. It's just once in a while. We are not ready for it. So we are not so great. But gopis in the midnight, they went. And where they went? In the forest. If we are told that you go to some Mysore forest, that sandalwood forest, where that Virappan was there, there you have some service, wood cutting or something. We will say, what nonsense? There forest? Will I come back or not? And that too in the midnight. We won't go. And gopis went, it is said, they were pressing through the moon rays. But one point of time, the forest became so thick that not even one moon ray was able to enter. Nothing can be seen anywhere. And they were searching for Krishna. Where is Krishna? So it's not possible. And that too, they were in female bodies. Even in male bodies, one will not dare to enter in forest in the midnight in such situation. Krishna says, "Oh, sorry, why did you come here? There are fierce animals and all, go back and all that." He tested also gopis, but gopis did not go. Their whole existence was for Krishna. Krishnarthe Akhila Chesta. All activities dedicated to Krishna, and the intention is Krishna Prityarthe, for the pleasure of Krishna. So gross body is always engaged in services to Krishna, and subtle body is thinking how to please him. So complete existence, their psychophysical nature is of sannyasis. In fact, not some ordinary sannyasi, topmost renunciates. The topmost renunciates. That's why person like Shukdev Goswami, he is glorifying gopis. He is one who is describing Ras Leela, 5 chapters, Rasa Panchadhyay, to Maharaj Parikshit. We know for he was the parrot who was hearing uh, Bhagavatam when Shivji was telling to his wife Parvati. And Parvati was listening because she was interested to hear Bhagavatam, and her husband is the best because he's the Vaishnavanam Yata Shambhu, topmost devotee. She was hearing, and Shivji got absorbed. He closed eyes, went on and on and on. After long, in between, he would hear the sound. Some point he would say, and then, hmm, hmm. Okay, miss, I'm hearing. Nice point, like that. But then, long time passed by when he opened eyes and saw Parvati was sleeping like anything. And that happens many times. Katha is so sweet, devotees feel sleepy, and they sleep also nicely. Somebody said also, if you don't, one person came for Bhagavatam, means he became devotee, and then he was told you should come for morning program and Bhagavatam you should know. And he came and he started sleeping in Bhagavatam. And then he said, my God, for so many years I was not getting proper rest. But by coming to ISKCON, what doctors could not do, Bhagavatam class did. And you were wondering, is this glory is telling or this is not proper? But anyway, so then he understood she has been sleeping for a long time. He asked, what was the last point you heard? So she told something like fourth canto. He had gone up to 10th canto or so. So wondering who was that. Then he found one parrot was there on the branch of a tree. Then he understood this fellow. She chased after him to give him punishment. But the parrot flew and he went all the way to Badrikashram. Their wife of Vyasdev was yawning, and she opened her mouth and the parrot went in her womb and became her child, like that. Shuka, like parrot. But then she's pregnant, but 2 months passed, 3 months, 5 months, 9 months, 10 months, 1 year, 2 year, 3 years. And as they was surprised, child is not coming out only. So he started speaking to the child, child, please come out. Long time has passed by and mother is in trouble. Come out. He said, no, if I come out, Maya, illusory energy of the Lord is so powerful. I'll be engulfed by her. I will not come out. And as I was wondering, are like her whole life will go in pregnancy only or what? She will die with the child in the womb or what? So then he went to Dwarka and asked Lord Krishna that this is the situation. Lord Krishna personally came and Krishna assured him that, my dear child, I assure you that my illusory potency, Mama Maya Duratya, but to you she will never touch. You will be a born liberated soul. And the child was born and he was speaking very nicely. So Lord Krishna personally gave him the name Shukdev. He told Vyasdev his name he should give as Shukdev. So Krishna personally named that child. And that child, okay, not only birth is glorious, his activities are also glorious. At once he left for forest because he is liberated soul. He is not identifying on the bodily planes. All of us, ever since born, we needed care of the mother because we were small infants. Mother's milk and so many things were required. And then as we are raised, then so many things are told. We are always in her arms. And then this is your father, this is sister. So bodily concept of life becomes very strong in the association of such bodily concept of people like that. But Shukdev is born liberated, 16-year young lad. He just left for forest naked only. He is not bothered about wearing kopina or gamcha or anything, dhoti kurta, because he doesn't identify only with the body. So what is the need of dress, clothes? He went in the forest, but there was a pond and some young beautiful girls were bathing there naked without clothes. So he looked at them, they looked at him. No transformation in Shukdev Goswami at all, because he cannot see the body at all. Cannot see means not that he doesn't see, he sees, but he's not in the bodily concept of life. So for him, it no disturbance happens. And then he looked and then he went ahead. Then following him, Vyasdev was running, Putra, Putra, my dear son, because Vyasdev was attached to his son. He's a family man. So then running, then he also reached that pond. Son had gone. As soon as he came, immediately the girls covered their bodies with the clothes. Vasudev was surprised. He said, "Come on, my son is 16-year young boy of your age, and I am like your grandfather's age. Why did you cover your body when I came, whereas when he was there, you did not?" So they only told. It is said that women have sixth sense. They can understand who is a lusty fellow. They said, "Your son is liberated soul." We could easily see that he is not into bodily concept of life. He did not see our bodies only. He saw only the soul and he left. So there was no need to cover our bodies because he was not looking at our bodies. But you are a grahastha. Grahastha means one who understands what's the difference between man and woman, male and female. That's how he can produce a child. Because man has to unite with a woman to produce a child. That understanding is there with the grahastha, but your son doesn't have. So then, anyway, so Shukdev Goswami afterwards is brought back by Vasudev through some carpenter who was reciting Shrimad Bhagavatam verses. But we can see Shukdev Goswami, he is glorifying gopis so amazingly. And he is describing Rastila, Krishna's pastime with the gopis, to be topmost. What is that verse? विक्रीडितं व्रजवधूभिरिदं च विष्णो श्रद्धान्वितो अनुशृणुयाद् अथ वर्णयेद्य भक्तिं परां भगवती प्रतिलभ्य कामं रुद्रोगमाशु अपहिनोति अचिरेण धीरः. Vikriditam, this pastime of Raslila, Vrajavadhu of the Vrajagopis with Vishnu, very he cautions us, don't think Krishna to be some ordinary young beautiful boy. He is Vishnu, the source of Lord Vishnu. Vikriditam Vrajavadhu viridam cha Vishnu Shraddhanvito anuchranayad athavarnayed. So this is conclusion of entire Raslila. Rasa Panchadaya ends with this conclusion by Shukdev Goswami himself. Shraddhanvito, with Shraddha, Anushrunayad, if one hears, Athavarnayed Yah, or if he glorifies, if he narrates to others, what will happen? Bhaktim Param Bhagavati, he will achieve topmost devotion to Lord Krishna. Bhaktim Param Bhagavati Pratilabhya Kamam, and calm the lust in the heart, Rudrog, which is the disease of the heart. Nowadays, heart attacks is a common thing, but that is not heart attack. Whenever we feel lusty, that is heart attack. That's the disease of the heart, and this happens more for all the people all the time. Then heart attack. Heart attack will come once in life or 3 4 times in life. And then person will die mostly. He will not get next heart attack. But while living, we have this rudrog of lust. Rudrogam ashu apahinoti achirena dhira. Ashu means very quickly. Ashu apahinoti will be destroyed. Rudrog, lust will be destroyed. And achirena. Already he said ashu very quickly. Again he's saying achirena, not after a long time. It's very quickly. Achirena dhira. He'll become very sober. He'll become very knowledgeable. And person who is in knowledge, he's sthir, he's dhira. Dhiras tatrana muyyati. The sign is he's undisturbed. So many dualities in the world. The sign, the happiness, distress, fair, dark, cold, heat. All these things won't disturb him because dhira. Dhiras tatrana muyyati. We can check ourselves how much we have become dhiras by how the dualities trouble us. How sukh elates me, makes me very elated, and when distress comes, I'm morose. When heat is there, too much hot, then I get trouble, and it's too much cold, then also I feel trouble. So all the duality is troubling us. That means we are not in the mode of goodness. We have not come to the platform of dhira. Beyond dhira is narottama. Prabhupada says when Dhritarashtra quits home, that chapter in the first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, 13th chapter. So there Vidurji comes and preaches him very heavily. And Dhritarashtra goes to forest and meditates. But then because he was already old, time was less, he could not reach perfection. At best, he could become a dhira. He was passionate fellow, wanted all the kingdom, and he was ignorant about Krishna's position, Pandava's position. So his all 100 sons were killed. Now he came to the mode of goodness, became a dhira. But he could not become narottama, the best of the human beings. That means pure devotee of the Lord. That Dhritarashtra could not achieve that status because time was very less for him. Panchosho Vardham Vanam Rajat. After 50 age, one should go to forest and practice Vanaprastha life. But Dhritarashtra, his all age was going. He was more or less, he must be 200 300 years old minimum. Krishna only was 125 years old. Krishna and Pandavas, Duryodhan, etc. So he must be 200 300 years old. But he did not live. So he could not reach perfection. So Shukdev Goswami is glorifying gopis. So we can understand how gopis are topmost renunciate, topmost sannyasis. And that's why anybody who follows in the footsteps of gopis, he will be successful in his sannyas and he will be ideal in his practice. And there is another concept Krishna tells in the sixth chapter of Bhagavad Gita, the first verse only. Anashrita karma phalam karyam karma karoti yaha sa sannyasi cha yogi cha na niragnir na cha akriyah. That anashrita karma phalam, one who performs his activities in the world as he is obligated to. We have so many obligations, duties. And so one does them, yes, anashrita, but without taking shelter of karma phalam, anashrita karma phalam. He does karma but not attached to karma phal, which is very difficult for most of us. We do activities with the sole intention of what will I get in it. So many times even preachers have to address this concept while preaching to young boys. What is in it for me? They have W I, how many I? Three I. What is in it for me? WIIIFM, maybe something like that. So you let you mind control, then you can focus in your studies. So it's not a good approach, but many people have to do that. So we do that. We are attached to karma phal. That's how the boys can be pulled in one sense. Uh, those boys which are on lower platform, those who are on high platform, those who are seekers, those who are practicing for many lifetimes, Gyani type, they will be very much attracted to our program. But such kind of people in this day and age are very few like that. And we want many times numbers are asked. How many boys came for your Sankalpa camp? How many for Utkarsh? How many for one time? How many books you distributed? How much money you got? Fund collection. So when so much stress is there from top, the people below will be for survival. They have to adopt. Like I told in security time, one can adopt any means. So even preachers can get corrupt in a sense in their mentality. I think okay, Prabhu get big number of boys. We have to tell our superiors. If you tell, oh, in our Sankalpa camp, there were two boys. Two, two. Here we go in number. What? You're sleeping or what? Like that, we don't want to face the rage of our superiors. So we'll have to get 20, 30 boys, in our Sankalpa 20, 30. Okay. What kind of quality was there? That is no concern of anyone. But big number. Like that. I, in my final year, because I was the leader of our youth group. Youth group is our voice. So for the weekly program, there were hardly any regular boys, 3, 4, 5. So till last moment, I would try to get those regular boys. And I would see that by the time Kirtan is ending also, hardly 3, 4 boys or so 5 boys. And I would feel very pathetic. Then I would go in the building only at the ground floor. There was this cafe, Xerox machine shop, and so many things. And I would go there directly. It's like on the spot, I have to get those boys. I would sit with them. I would tell them, see, nice program is going on. We are not body waste. Very fast. It's like, what you call one time, not even one time. It's instant preaching, and you have to convince him and get him somehow by hook or crook. And then I would get him and put him in the program. Again, I would go down, again get, and then afterwards, at the end, I would say, 15, 20 boys. I would feel okay, kuch to kiya, something. Then the preacher, His Grace Premni Prabhu, he afterwards, after the whole thing, he sat with me, said, Hey Sundarshyam Prabhu, I see that you are very sincere and you are trying to get so many boys. No need to struggle like that. I understand it's very difficult to preach in Kali Yuga. Don't worry. You preach to the regular boys and they come 5, 6, no problem. You be there. I'll be happy to preach to you. You sit in the audience. I said, okay, okay. So thanks to him that he did not go for number. So I was saved. Otherwise, I was toiling like anything to get maximum number of boys. So anashrita karma phalam. This is sannyas very much required. Many times in ISKCON for brahmacharis, sometimes there is allurement. That we are becoming seniors. We are also qualified for sannyas. Why not? We should also be given danda like that. Yeah, you should be given danda, punishment only, because your heart is polluted. So that kind of mentality is this. But what is proper sannyas? If you understand, then we will not hanker for sannyas. Because sannyasi renounces everything. So your desire for sannyas should also be renounced. then you are a proper sannyasi. Should not be hankering. Some of my friends tell, अरे क्या इसका में sannyas मिलता ही नहीं. One lady sitting at the top, foreign lady, and she interviews and then doesn't pass. I don't know which is the lady sitting. Some foreign Mataji Prabhupada disciple is there, I think. Because they have seen many sannyasis going off track. They have left ISKCON, they have left sannyas practices. So now sannyas ministry is quite strict. They have tightened all the screws and several exams, things they have to go through. Screening, lot of screening happens. 1 month he has to go for bus party. They will check, how he fares there. Some austerity they will put him through. He has to be Bhakti Vaibhav at least minimum, and then he has to be this, he has to be that. So many conditions, not so easy like that. So people get frustrated. But if we understand what is sannyas, then we will not be so disturbed. Sannyas is supposed to be dhira, at least. Sannyas is not expected to be narottama, but is expected to be a dhira. Dhira means dhirastatrana muhyati. Why should he be so much disturbed that I am not getting sannyas? I am not. In fact, His Holiness Jayapataka Swami Maharaj in his book Vaishnav Ke writes very clearly in one of the verses explanation that the desire to get this kind of sannyas, our facilities, privileges, for the sake of one's services is a contamination. One should not expect sannyas. Rather, one should allow Krishna to put you there, because when you are so sincerely practicing and your preaching will flourish, will get like, some cream on the ice, icing on the cream, whatever they call. So like that, sannyas will add beauty, extra edge. So then Krishna will arrange for your sannyas. Otherwise, it is a contamination. Maharaj makes it very clear. One should not desire like that. So we should not be attached to the fruits of our action. In fact, he proves himself to be not a sannyasi. He is brahmachari, going on with brahmachari, and he is thinking, "Arey, the result of brahmachari is sannyas. Why are they not giving me sannyas?" So he's attached to fruits of his action, and thus it proves that he is not as fit for candidate for sannyas. Anashrita karma phalam. He should not be attached to the fruits of his actions. Anashrita, and that's why some people give up brahmachari life also. And so many other things happen. I will not get into that. Otherwise, it will become a brahmachari class. But anashrita karma phalam karyam karma karotiya sa sannyasi. Very clearly, Krishna has used the word sa sannyasi. He is a sannyasi. One who does activities as he is obligated to. He doesn't do nonsense, and he doesn't do other things. Some activities have to be performed, and Krishna arpit activities also have to be done. So sa sannyasi. He is a sannyasi. So sannyasi cha yogi cha. Not only sannyasi is yogi also. He is connected to me. Na niragnir na cha akriya. Who is not a sannyasi? Na niragnir. One who is inactive. So Krishna is also he is refuting karma sannyas. Na niragnir. Na cha akriya. Akriya is the next one. Akriya. He does not do any activity. So karma sannyas is forbidden by Krishna also. Giving up activities. In fact, Krishna says that what is that? Mithyachara sa uchyate. Karmendriyani samyamya ya asti manasa smaran indriyarthan vimudatma mithyachara sa uchyate. Karma indriyani samyamya. One who is taking the senses, he is controlling, but yaste manasa smaran. In the mind, he is thinking of sense gratification. He is a mithyachari. So one should be engaged fully in Krishna conscious activities. Na niragnir na cha akriya. One who does not light some fire, he is not a sannyasi. So this is proper sannyas. And otherwise, so many sannyasis, and Prabhupada is saying, they make this kind of concepts towards the end. Is saying, although it is forbidden, there are many pashandis. That verse says in Vaishnava Tantra, Yastu Narayanam Devam. Anybody who says Narayan, Brahma Rudradi Daivate Samatva. Brahmaji, Rudra, Shivji, Adi, Brahma, Rudra, Adi, etc. Brahma, Shiva, Ganesh, and so many demigods are there. Brahma, Rudra, Adi, Daivate, Devatas, demigods. Anybody who says that demigods like Brahma, Shiva, and others are at par with Lord Narayan, Samatva, they are at par. Samatva Naiva Viksheta, one should never see them on equal plane. That's why the second offense says that. What is that? To consider the names of demigods like Lord Shiva or Brahma to be equal to or independent of names of Lord Vishnu. So they should not be considered same. This sloka is telling very clearly. Samatva naiva viksheta. But if he thinks that they are on the same level, then sa pashandi bhaved dhruvam. He is a determined thief. He's a rascal, Makhandi. He is not to be accepted. So here people forget about Devatas. An ordinary poor fellow, poverty stricken fellow, below poverty level or whatever, is on the streets only with no house. And they consider him to be Daridra Narayan. Narayan, who is now poor, like that. So let me help this Narayan. Narayan doesn't need your help. Lakshmi Sahasra Shata Sambrahma Sevyaman. But they have this Daridra Narayan, or another concept is Swami Narayan. Some make some fellow to be their master and then consider him to be Swami. So like that, so many people are there speaking so many things. That is not bona fide. That's what Prabhupada is saying. Although not even such demigods as Brahma and Shiva can be equal to Narayan, but they coined these terms like Daridra Narayan, Swami Narayan. So this is not proper. So we discussed in today's class what sannyas means and how one should be following gopis like Shukdev Goswami glorifies. So that is perfect. Okay, any question? More things can be discussed, but time is over. Yes, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much for your class. Very nice class, Prabhuji. I have a question regarding yesterday's evening class. Can I ask?
Okay, but if possible, first we'll give a chance to those who have question about today's class. Then we'll come to you. Yes.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
So you mentioned about how women is considered as a field, as a kshetra. So somehow it appears to be very common men will not accept it because it appears to be very disrespectful to women, because we see that anybody can use women like
No, it is
field.
not said in general field. In this context only it is said. When the child cannot be produced by husband, see, woman is capable of producing child, but husband is not, like we discussed Pandu's case, or sometimes the husband may be dead, something like that. So only in that case she is considered like a field, not like, no, then it will become a prostitution only then.
Then why is it said that matrat paradareshu? Because every woman should, in any
Yeah,
case, should
that's
be considered
perfect.
as mother.
Yeah.
So
Apart
when
from
the
your
mother,
own wife, all other women are mother for you.
so when brother's wife is not able to produce, then that mother becomes I produce child in that mother. How is
No,
it?
Shastras are not very narrow minded and all that. They understand how they are applicable in all situations. There is no situation in which the Vedas are not ready to help you. Like mother will help you in all conditions of life, whether you are mentally deranged, you are handicapped, anything. So Vedas are mother. So Vedas give all, they're all encompassing. Nothing can, otherwise people will feel frustrated. I am not able to produce child through my wife, and Vedas have no recommendation. That's how we see the six meat. You can meat like fish, matsya, madira. You can drink wine, mura, one parched rice. It is also something like that. And then what? Maithun, sex is allowed, and mansa, madira, all that is covered. So you can see Vedas allow everything. And also their Vedas speak about apad dharma. In emergency, a Brahmana can take over some other job. Job means not job, he's a vritti, chilanchana vritti, like that. A Kshatriya also, Vaishya also, they are allowed to have change of their occupation, which otherwise should not. But emergency, apad dharma, then it is allowed. In the apad dharma time, once Vishwamitra Muni had to eat dog. So this is allowed. Prabhupada said, go to particular country and preach. They said, no, Prabhupada will not get vegetarian food. Prabhupada said, eat meat, but preach. Because preaching is so high, in front of that, this kind of thing is not, does not mean that you keep eating meat. If vegetarian food is not available only. So for that reason, should we not go and preach? No, you must go and eat meat and preach. Krishna will purify you of all the sinful reaction, because through preaching you are pleasing Krishna anyway. You understand? So Shastras are all accommodating. They're all encompassing. So that's why when situation is so such like this, so then that is the facility. Not in general. Not in general.
Right. So, two things here. One is, this
There are
is
many other things also, like Duhitru Dharma is there. Duhitru, I think. What is that called?
daughter.
Like Duhitru, daughter means now somebody has no son only. Daughter is there. So he can marry his daughter to a man saying that your son through my daughter will be my son. This is Putrika? Putrika Dharma, na? Putrika Dharma or something. So then that person agrees. Okay, it's like a what do you call agreement like that, and he agrees. It's verbal, not like legal bond paper, etc. And then that is agreed upon. Then when the son is born, he will come to grandfather, and he'll be accepted a grandfather as his son, like that. In the I think Yagya's case, it was like that. It is there in third canto or somewhere. So like that, so many adjustments are there. Not that women are looked down. For that matter, for male, you understand how much it's a what do you call hurting of the ego. Are you produced son through your brother? It would be so troublesome to his false ego. You understand? But that is not the thing, because the kings are very noble. They want next son who will take care of the citizen, and they are not able to produce because of some very complicated situation. Then they will get their brother like that.
So why is it forbidden in the age of Kali? But
Because we are not so noble. Nobody is so noble.
correct. So that means, consciousness is corrupt in the age of Kali. So it is forbidden.
Hmm.
Now that should also be applicable even in the previous yugas, because
No, you see the personalities. Ved Vyas. Parashar Muni, when he was crossing the river with the Matsya Gandha girl, the daughter of fisherman, so the intention was not to have sex with her. But as he sat and the boat was in the middle of that river, he said, "This is perfect constellation. At this time, if I conceive a child through you, then Lord Narayan only will be born. So I want to conceive a child through her, through you." She was shocked. What is this? I am a virgin girl. You are not my husband and all. He said, "No, this is very auspicious moment. We cannot. This is Vidhi Likit like that. So you allow. And don't worry, your virginity will be intact." And he gave her several blessings. Her body was producing such bad fishy odor. It would go for miles together, and nobody would come close to that girl. So, but then he blessed her that that will go away, and she became very fragrant bodied girl. So much so that Shantanu, when he was going for hunting, he smelled that fragrance, and he was wondering where is it coming. And through the fragrance, he came to her, and then he got attracted, and he proposed, and they got married. All that. So, so Vedvyas, he is called. You understand what a amazing personality he is. Similarly, Pandu asked his wife to get demigods, Dharmaraj, then Vayu, then Indra. And then because Madri had no other choice to use that mantra only once, she was intelligent. She asked for Ashwini Kumaras. So there are two, they are not one. So through each one, one got Nakul and Sahadev. Only once she used the mantra. So this kind of adjustment is there. We also in life have so many adjustments, isn't it? Only they are material and they are not sanctioned in the Vedas. So then it is not proper. Vedas are very amazing. Like we know that gobar, the what you call the this dung of any animal. If you touch, you have to take bath. But gobar is not like that. Gobar is purifying rather. We can use it in the altar. Whole altar can have ceiling, wall, the altar also, wooden thing. Means it will not look beautiful, but otherwise you can apply gobar there also. Everywhere gobar can. Lord can be applied gobar. In Krishna Lila, we find so many times Mother Yashoda applying gobar, gomutra on Krishna, so that he'll be very pure. So Vedas are, they have to be applied properly. Only experts know how to utilize. And in Kali Yuga, we are not having that kind of purity, so it is not allowed. Yes, any other?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Hare Krishna
Yes,
Prabhu.
Prabhu, has, yesterday he had a question.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Dandavat Pranam. Hare Krishna Prabhu. 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 H Hare Krishna,
So,
Prabhu.
Prabhuji, in
Prabhuji.
answering yesterday one of the questions, you said that if you're not able to understand some shloka or whatever, then you keep reading, and then Lord will give you the knowledge. So I was thinking about that, and I thought that South Indian Brahmin Chaitanya Mahaprabhu visited because he couldn't read much, but still his guru's instruction he was following. So the Lord revealed that in his heart,
Yes.
according to whatever you said. Is that
Guru
correct
Mukha
understanding?
Padma Vakya Chitte te Kori Aikya Arana Kori ho Manyasha. So his guru told him read Bhagavad Gita daily. He was kind of illiterate, was not able to read properly. But because Guru has told, I have to read it. Not that how you read matters, you have to read it. So then he read it, and because of faith in Guru, he got the Lord. Yasya deve para bhaktir yatha deve tatha guru tassaite kathita hi artha prakashante mahatmana. Only unto those great souls who have implicit faith both in the Supreme Lord Krishna and the spiritual master, all the imports of Vedic knowledge are automatically revealed. So there was so much revelation for him. He was crying tears. Not that when Mahaprabhu came, he was crying tears. He was crying tears daily. Not because the other Brahmanas were mocking, saying, look at this fool, he doesn't know. Because he was getting revelation that how Krishna, the Lord and Master of the entire universe creation, has become a charioteer for his devotee Arjun. And the culmination was Mahaprabhu arriving and embracing him, giving mercy, Krishna Prema, everything. So if because Prabhupada has told us, read my books, we should read. Certainly some things we don't understand. We can go to some seniors and ask them. But sometimes even they may not be able to explain. Like I remember when second time I was reading Srimad Bhagavatam, third canto, the creation part, it was bouncing on my head. And I was wondering first time, what did I understand? That in second reading, I'm not understanding. I doubt whether I understood anything in the first reading. This was second reading. So I wrote a mail to His Grace Ajesham Prabhu saying that, Bro, I'm reading third canto. I am not understanding anything. What should I do? He said, don't worry, continue reading. I'm also reading third canto. I'm also not able to understand. Continue reading. So then I thought, okay, this is coming in Parampara. So I continued reading. Third time also I read third canto. I'll read it 1,000 times also, even if I'm not able to understand. Because Prabhupada wants us to read his books. Certainly, we can have Bhakti Vaibhav course. We can experts are there in ISKCON. Acharya's commentaries, those who know, analyze, they are there. We can ask them also, but sometimes they may not be around. And we can just keep reading. Faith is what matters, not your intellectual ability, how you understand things. That is not important. How much is your faith? Yes, Hare Krishna. Any other? Mataji have a question?
Hare Krishna.
Should we end?
You-
You have a question? ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, शिल प्रभुपाद की जय, समवेत गौर भक्त वृंद की जय, निताय गौर प्रेमानंदी।
मैं क्या बिच्छी
Hare Krishna. Today evening also there will be class at 7:15, and Prabhuji will be continuing the topic of
Where is Prasanna?